So here's a rotted wheel well on a Hyundai. I'm not sure what make or year it is, but the process isn't really affected by that. So I'm going to repair this. Part of the problem is that this is sort of a double hull. You've got metal meeting from inside the wheel well, then meets this outside skin. And so you've got a gap right there where you've got, well, a seam where these two plates of metal meet and it's all rotted. So what I'm going to do is build a panel on the inside, rivet it to the inside, build a panel on the outside, and then attach the two pieces together. I've already shaped the outside piece, which is going to look like this, and I'm going to rivet it in place, and it will maintain the arc of the wheel well. The way I created this piece of metal was by using a cardboard template. The other side of the car isn't so rotted, so I put cardboard underneath the other side, traced out the arc, and then transposed it on a piece of metal for this side. So I got the complete arc from the other side, and that's how I came up with that shape. Now the inside, I just scraped away about 2 inches of undercoating, and I'm going to take, I've got a strip of metal that'll go here, and then have a flange that bends out. So I've already created that. And this is it. This is what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And so I'll show you how this is going to go. So this piece that I created is going to go inside the wheel well. It's going to rivet to the fender well. All along the inside, it's going to rivet to the fender well. And then these tabs that I made will bend up, and it will give another surface that I can attach. I can attach this piece to. So, what I'm going to do first right now is I'm going to take this strip of metal, and I'm going to work it on the inside first and rivet this all in place, and I'll show you that when it gets done. And to make this repair last longer, before I put the metal panel on the inside, I put a layer of undercoating, rubberized undercoating, just for longevity purposes. So we'll let that dry for 10 minutes, then come back to work on this. And as you can see, I also sprayed some undercoating on the outside as well. So at least the metal that's underneath will be protected a little bit. Okay, so make this less bright. So now you can see I've got that strip of metal riveted in all along the inside of the wheel well. So that takes care of any rot that was in the body, on the wheel well itself, at least on the inside. And then you can see on the outside, because I left a fold on the metal, we've got, when we put the other piece of metal on, we'll be able to rivet it or tie it right into these tabs that exist, as well as into the lower and the upper part of this arc that represents the curvature of the wheel well. So here's the next step. You see I've used pliers to put that piece of metal more or less in place, and now I'm going to start to rivet it. It'll get riveted into the original body and into those tabs that I showed you on that underlying piece of metal So we'll be able to tie, you know, both of those pieces of metal together. And that's the idea. So now I'm going to start drilling and putting rivets, starting from the top, working my way down. So here on the driver's side, you can see that inner panel that I riveted to the good solid metal, and it's tied in to this outside patch. And you can see how that inside strip has 90-degree bend with flaps, tabs, that the outside piece is now riveted into. So it's a good, strong, solid repair. Much better than cheesy fiberglass, in my opinion. So here's a repair, no welding, no fiberglass. And you see how I peen down the upper edge so it would go along where the door closes. And that's what it looks like with the door closed. And that's my repair. If you got a Hyundai that's more than 10 years old, you probably need to do this too. So you can see I've got a similar situation on the passenger side. It's not quite as bad, but I've already installed, you know, a strip of metal, tied it into the fender well, made tabs so they'll be able to attach an outer plate to those tabs. So here's my cardboard template. And I'm going to start this about where this line comes across the car, right here. Well, you can't, I'll have to show you that way. And you can see I've got pretty much got the right curve. So now I'm going to transpose this curve on another piece of cardboard that I can then shape to the rest of this panel. Probably in the dimensions that I'm showing you right here. And just so you can see how the process goes, that I create the piece of metal for the outside, I've got one piece of cardboard that I carved in the shape of the door well. I've got it up a little bit, about 1/4 inch, so I can peen over the edges. Then I taped the curved piece to the contour of the fender, so it'll be curved along the fender. I'm only going to have to extend this piece up till about, well, it's bad right there, so I only need to probably extend this piece up to where this arrow is. So I'm going to pull this thing off and then make a template onto a piece of metal, sheet metal. So you can see I've got the cardboard template on some galvanized metal. I'm going to trace this piece and then cut it out. And here's the piece cut out of the sheet metal, ready to install on the outside of the driver's side. So here's the passenger side done. For some reason I inaccurately cut this part over here because I really wanted it to go all the way up and overlap, so there'd only really be one seam there and one seam there. But now instead I've got this little thing, but it's still a good repair. It's solid. It's tied into both sides. So you now have a solid repair on the inside, all on the inside, and tied in to the outside. So I hope this helps someone, and good luck if you try this. So now, if you want to put Bondo on this repair, what I did is I flattened out the rivets just a little bit, and so to make it so that I don't have to put quite as much Bondo on there. And then I scuffed beyond where the patch is to try to blend it in with the rest of the car. So you can see the wheel well that I worked on, and I've put a couple of different layers of Bondo on, then sanded them down, and it looks pretty good. Next I'm going to prime this, and then we'll paint it. So the only problem I think in this whole entire job will be the spot right here, because this is where the metal plate, you can see this is the corner where the metal plate starts. Let's see if I can focus that. That's the corner where the metal plate starts, and I can't really blend the metal plate back into the body. I suppose I could try to put like some kind of putty by hand, finger along like that, but I want this to sort of match this curvature in the fender and this line that denotes the curvature. So I'm going to mask it off so it paints this, but it's going to leave that ridge there. I don't know how else to do it. If we look at the other side, you can see the work I did over there. So here's the other side, and it doesn't look terrible. And I'm going to prime this side too. I think I need to put a little bit more Bondo on there, because if you hold the light like this, you can see there's some distinct irregularities. So I need to work on that. Okay, so this is it. And I'm going to do some unmasking, see how everything looks. Not too bad. And that little area is the area that I said would have a problem, because the way the steel sticks up above the body of the car. But other than that, pretty darn good. And here's the passenger side. So here it is out in the light of day. Better than a failing car that couldn't pass inspection. And here's the driver's side. Again, you can see where the hole was. Well, no, you can't see where the hole was. That's the area where the hole was. All repaired on the outside and on the inside of the wheel well, which has now been all undercoated inside.